Hey yo, what's up everyone? It's your boy up here, and today, we were doing what we did last week, and if you wasn't here last week, make sure that you subscribe, man. You subscribe and you go and you check those videos out, man. Alright, so what we'll be doing is that we'll be doing a weekly forecast, and what it is that we'll be expecting on the weeks to come, either it is on currency pairs, on indices, so you're just gonna go all out, we're gonna go crazy, right? So what matters is that we get to forecast and see where it is that we're actually heading for the week is to come, right? So ladies and gentlemen, we first have to remember that whenever it is that we are analyzing on a weekend, we start on a weekly time frame, and whenever it is that we're analyzing within the week, we start on a daily time frame. So this method of analyzing is called a top-down analysis, where we start from the higher time frames and we work our way down, having the clear direction in mind. So the bigger time frames, we look for market direction, and then as we get down into the smaller time frames, we dissect those bigger time frames, and then we look for nice, clean, and beautiful entries, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so let's just get straight into it. So on the GBPUSD, we first look for the highest high, which is noted by this horizontal ray, and then we look for our lowest low. So now that we realize that price is actually moving in a more of an ascending pattern, like we're looking at an impulse, and then we're looking at a correction, and then we can expect an impulse towards the upside in the foreseeable future. But now the question is when. Then we're gonna have to look for our areas where price rejects. We look for rejection levels where price comes at that level and price rejects. So price came to this level, it bounced, it rejected, came to this level here, it rejected towards the downside, and then it came to this particular level here, and then it did the exact same thing. So having this clear picture, now that we get to see that, okay, the market is giving us an indication that now we are at a key level, we are at a significant zone. So what we can do, this can be optional. This can be optional to you guys, that you can actually replace this trend line, with a nice beautiful zone. With a nice beautiful zone. Now this zone will indicate what? Will indicate a support. Will indicate support that we can expect prices, to shoot towards the upside. So it's gonna look something like this, guys. It's gonna look something like this, where we see something like this happening, and then we expect prices to come and play around in this particular level, and then we can say shoot towards the upside. You can expect something as such. Right, so now you're gonna have to move from the weekly time frame all the way down to the daily time frame. Now on the daily time frame, we do the exact same thing. We look for similarities within these patterns, guys, because it's gonna help us a lot. So we now at the daily time frame. So now that we are at the daily time frame, what it is that we are looking at clear market indication that market actually agrees with what it is that we have been saying. So now that we have noticed this, what's happening right here, what we can do is we can tweak it a little bit, right? We can add on to what it is that we currently know. So let us add on, right? So we do see the overall structure that the market has been moving in impulse. See that the market has been moving in a nice beautiful impulse, right? So now since price has been moving in this beautiful impulse, what do we expect is that we expect a correction, and then we expect an impulse that is as big as its previous impulse, right? So we can expect another impulse that's going to be somewhat as big as this one, But now the question we ask ourselves is how do we enter this particular trade, right? So we come here, we notice our first touch, second touch, and our third touch. Now the third touch is very probable, guys, because the third touch tells us that the market is swinging in a direction of which the third touch has indicated. So now that the third touch has been indicated towards the bottom side, what do we expect is that we expect prices to shoot towards the upside. Something exactly like this, guys. Right. So remember that we can say that this is a beautiful falling wedge because we are at a nice, clean, significant level right here. We are at a nice, beautiful, significant level right there. So what we can say is that since now we see this, we can expect this level here to be our first take profit. But now, because of the 90% rule, having to remember that the 90% rule just tells us that price is expected to come back and touch that area of significance. That every single thing will eventually have to come back to its level of origin. So that's what the 90% rule tells us in our case. Right, so we expect to see something similar to this, somewhat like this. Not exactly, but somewhat similar to that. So having seen this touch 1, touch 2, touch 3, and this third touch is at a significant key level, and it is supported by this beautiful rejection here, and then we see an impulsive green candle, which tells us that we can expect buys towards the upside. And then now we swing on to the 4-hour. Now in our 4-hour, we look for a couple of things, right? We look for our patterns, pattern confirmations, things that are going to confirm the direction in which we're heading. So many people will not actually see this, but I see it. I see 1, I see 2 right here. Beautiful. So what can we expect? We expect prices to shoot towards the upside. Now, having this key level here, we remember that double bottoms tell us what the prices are going to shoot up. So what do? Is that we have to label the significant key level, that price will eventually come here, and as to how it reacts, we will see then, because we see this double bottom and we can expect buying pressure to follow through. But now, to validate our claim that we are shooting towards the upside, we can look at something like this. You see something like this. You see, guys, it confirms everything. Guys. You see, the moment you see something, guys, and it makes sense to you the first time, you should go with it, guys. Remember, you build your own story in the market, guys. You see something like this, and then you see something like this, and then we see something like this. This gives us clear indication that we are seeing our first touch, that we are seeing our second touch, and that we are currently experiencing our third touch. So what does that tell us? It tells us that, okay, price is indeed shooting towards the upside. Now the problem is, how can we capitalize on that? So now we're gonna have to, since we already have our levels of support where price has reached these levels and has supported, what we have to do is now find our relevant levels of resistance, so we look for the highest high of that current structure, the highest height of this current structure. So this is all the highest high, because if you look at it from this point of view, it's approximately similar towards being the same thing. So what you can do is keep it somewhat like this. Right, so now we have our 2 touches on the top side, which means that we expect prices to break out. And then the moment prices do break out, what do we expect? That we expect a minor correction before we buy, because right now we see this happening right there. Okay, then we zoom into the 60 minutes. 60 minutes represents our hour. Now what it is that we see on our hour will give us a nice clean market entry. Right, so what I personally see is that I see a nice falling wedge happening right over here. It's a beautiful falling wedge. See what's happening right here? It's a beautiful falling wedge. Now remember, if you guys did your pattern, if you guys learned your patterns, you remember that falling wedges deliver a beautiful rise in price. So what we can expect is that we can expect the market to shoot up and retest, like how the market has done over here. Let me just highlight that level for us right there. The market came back and it retested this particular level for us. After it retested, we got a nice beautiful impulse towards the upside. So this validates our claim that price wants to shoot towards the upside. But now the question we have to ask ourselves is how. Let's just move this one away just for a little bit. Let's keep him in the 4-hour perhaps, because right now it's gonna confuse us. So let's say 3-4 hours, 4 hours and above. Okay, cool. So now that we have this beautiful clean structure happening right over here, we see our nice clean break and retest. So we could have found our entries at this particular level right here, and then expected our first take profits to be at this level, the 90% rule of this pattern, And then knowing our overall pattern is that we can come here and then we can still continue to shoot towards the upside, capturing a nice 1.29%. Right, so now we have to go to the 15-minute time frame. Now the 15-minute time frame reminds us of the 15-minute time frame. It reminds us beautifully of our entry. Where do we enter? How do we enter? How do we enter these type of positions? So let us get into it, guys. Let us get into this, guys. Let's say this is only visible on the 12 hours going up, right? Okay, shoot. Let's do this. Right, so what do we see here? Here we see a beautiful rise, supported by massive rejections. Now what do these rejections tell us? The moment we see rejections, we fall happy, guys, because the moment price rejects our level of support, this becomes a nice, beautiful, it becomes a solid level where we can actually believe that, price is going to want to shoot towards the upside. So what we can do is we can buy. Keep a nice tidy stop loss. Keep a nice beautiful stop loss, and then we go to our 4-hour time frame. Alright, so we remember what happened is that we can take our take profits nicely over here. Consider it getting a nice 0.39%, which is good. Now all the way towards the upside is that we can expect a nice 130%. This is also good. But now remembering that our overall structure points us way higher than this, so we can actually look at a picture similar to something like this, on the GBPUSD for the next weeks to come. We can expect a beautiful buy, because you see it's also evident right here of this double bottom right over here, guys. You also see this nice beautiful double bottom happening over here. So remember, guys, the market is not perfect, guys. The market is not perfect. What we see in textbooks that look like this, it looks beautiful, it looks clean, guys. In the market, it doesn't look as clean as this, guys. The market will not make it easy for us. Sometimes, we get it on our trend line, guys. You see, in the moment we see our trend line, like how we have it over here, right? We get beautifully, guys, beautifully. But if you remember how to trade your patterns, then you will know that the moment we see something like this, we on, guys, we on towards the upside. Okay, so now this is our overall structure. So we can expect prices to come up towards this level here, and then later in the future expect it to come and touch our 90% rule. 7 days is a very long time, guys, so we all need to remember, and patience is key. Sometimes many of us may not be very, very comfortable trading the third touch, so what we have to do is wait for a breakout. So now when we wait for these breakouts, we look for something like this. We're going to expect prices to come and break out at this particular level, like so. We expect prices to come and break out at this particular level, like so, and give us somewhat of a correction. What do our corrections tell us? Our corrections give us an indication that price will want to shoot towards the upside. Because corrections, they are more like continuation patterns. But now you also need to remember that how the market corrects also gives you an indication, because this can also be looked at as a correction. But this correction here is in the form of a falling wedge. So falling wedges will give us a beautiful rise in price. So that is our indication for GBPUSD for the weeks to come, is that we are expecting a nice bullish market. So I'll just have this right here to indicate that beautiful buy. You can have this right here to indicate that beautiful buy. Beautiful. Very beautiful. So now, after having seen something like this, let's look for something relatively new. Let's try focusing on, let's say US30 perhaps. Let's look at what US30 has for us, guys. Let's look at what US30 has for us. Let's see USD. Alright. Let's look at it. Let's look at it, guys. Okay, cool. Right, so now we're looking at US30, guys. Remember, we start on our weekly time frame. On our weekly time frame, we get to see the overall trend at the same time, you know. So right, we've been noticing that US30 has been flowing towards the upside, you know, very, very continuously towards the upside, strongly towards the upside. So one thing that we have to do right now is that we have to note our highest height, which is going to be this particular level over here, our lowest low, which is going to be this level over here, and then we also have to note, you know, current levels, you know, of market rejection. You know, you guys don't actually have to go all the way down to this level here, because it's highly unlikely that US30, you know, would want to actually come back towards the significant levels. Highly unlikely. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely. So you focus on current market data, guys. So, and then now we go to that daily time frame. Now that we're on the daily time frame, guys, you know, we get to see an overall trend of how US30 has actually been moving, you know, and then we see something like this. Right, we see something similar to this, so which gives us an indication that, you know, hey, price wants to shoot towards the upside. So we can expect that price, when it comes here, it creates our what? It creates our dead touch. So let us note that level down. You know, we have our first touch here. We have our first touch here. We have our nice clean second touch, and then we have our nice beautiful third touch. This is an impulsive, you know, this is very, very impulsive. So what we can expect is that we can expect, you know, it for it to come play around this level here, perhaps break towards this level here, creating a nice beautiful double bottom within the long run, that is, and then you can expect it to shoot towards the upside. But, you know, back to the key analysis at hand, you know, like, what is it we can expect to happen? We can expect that beautiful movement to happen, or it can not happen. You know, price can, you know, reject this particular level right here, but you know how it rejects that level right there will give us a nice beautiful indication on how we can trade this beautiful pair. Right, so we have that, you know, we can actually have this trend. You know, you can just sit here for now. You know, we can sit here for now. Yes, okay. And then we can, you know, clone it. You know what we do on one side, we must also do on the other side. Remember that, guys. You know, it's like math, guys. You know the equal to sign, guys. When you move something, what you do on the left side, you must also do on the right side, something similar to that one, guys. You know, so you see something like this, you know, and then we can say, look at this level right here, nice beautiful level right here happening as well, you know. But let's zoom in towards the 4 hours so you can get to see this level nice and clear. Right, okay, so there we are. You know, guys, make your charts nice and neat. You know, fix your trend lines as you go along, guys. As you go along, fix your trend line, guys. You know, it will help you in the long run. All right, so having seen this level, impulse, you see price broke out. So what we can do now is we can quote this, clone, take him towards the upside. You know, it will look like this, guys. You know, it will look like this, guys. You know, it will look like this, guys. You know, where we see our first touch up here, where we see our nice beautiful first touch up here, we see this as our second touch, and then we notice this is the key level third touch happening right over there. So we, on overall, you see we did get this kickback happening right over there that tells us that price did want to shoot towards the downside. Right, so now that we have our nice beautiful breakout, and then we have this, this level of correction that happened right over here before price chose to shoot towards the downside. Now let's go to this level right here and let's notice something, guys. What do we notice here? We notice a strong level of resistance where price came here, it rejected, price came here, it gave us a couple of weeks which gave us a strong rejection, and then price rejected here on overall, which gave us a beautiful fall. But now how did this fall come into place? The fundamentals are very, very, very strong, guys, especially since we are coming close to NFP, so the markets can be a bit crazy. Markets can be a bit crazy. We are coming very, very close to NFP, guys, since we're in a Sunday, and NFP, I think it's this Friday. Yeah, this Friday. So it's gonna be crazy, guys. It's gonna be crazy. We see something like this. Now we see our first touch, second touch, a beautiful correction. So how price corrected towards this significant level here, we could have caught a nice, beautiful sell towards the downside. So let us zoom in towards the 60-minute. Yes. There we go. You see, we fix our trend lines just a little bit, so that everything looks nice and peachy. So that everything looks nice and Georgia. That's how we like to say it down here. Alright, cool, awesome. So now that we've seen something like this, right, so it gave us a beautiful indication that price wants to shoot down, and price did shoot down. But now let us notice what's happening right over here. You see here, we have to notice this, guys, how price reacts here. It's beautiful, guys. It's key. So what we can expect is that we can expect rejections like this to happen. Now that we cannot see them now because we're looking at it from a bigger time frame, guys. So we can expect something like a falling wedge to happen over here. Remember, falling wedges give us a rise in price. Falling wedges deliver a beautiful rise in price, guys, so we can look for something similar to that. So we can zoom in towards a 15-minute time frame. Yes, exactly as I was saying. Exactly as I was saying. Right, price has been reacting towards these key levels right here. The price came in, it bounced here, came in, it bounced again, and then it came in and gave us a beautiful bounce again. So we can expect is that we can expect prices to shoot towards the upside, but according to this, what's happening right now, that we can wait. We have to wait, because this is a very, very sharp pullback. This is a very, very sharp pullback. So what we can do is that we can expect prices to shoot towards the upside, give us a beautiful correction. Sorry about that. We can expect prices to shoot up, give us a nice correction, something like this, and then we can enter at this particular level all the way towards the upside. Or we can expect prices to break out, give us a correction on the below, below right here, and then we can expect prices to shoot towards the downside. So that's how we can look at something like this, guys, because it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. So you're gonna have to wait this one out nicely, just so that we can get a nice reduced risk entry. Remember, guys, is that having a risk entry doesn't always guarantee that the market is gonna go your way. So having to reduce that risk as much as possible will actually give you a more of a fighting chance. So we can expect market to come to this level here. This is where I would say you can enter the level. You have a nice stop loss of at least 33, 35, 33. On overall, take profit somewhere around here, get a nice clean 2.5, get a nice beautiful 2.5 happening right over there. Get something like this, but this is too big, guys. Keep your stop losses small, somewhere close to 2% of your overall account. If you're gonna risk somewhere 20%, that's too much, guys. It's too much. So you can expect something like this, where price will give us a nice beautiful double bottom. Right over here we can see that this is a nice W happening right over here. Price will give us something like this. When we get something like this, we know that yes, we are good. A continuation pattern, we are in. We are in all the way towards the upside. Or price can just choose to break down here, give us something like this, head and shoulder, perhaps. You know, it can give us whatever the market wishes to give us all the way towards the downside. Now we have to remember that this isn't a signal, guys. You know, this isn't a signal. We are just sharing our views on where it is that we expect the market, you know, to shoot towards, you know, in the upcoming future, guys. So that's just how we are looking at it from that level right here. So we're just gonna have to wait this one out just a little bit so we can get a nice clean reduce the risk entry, guys, because on overall price is telling us that, you know, we can shoot towards the upside. Let's go towards our 4-hour so we can show you guys this, you know, so that we can show you guys this, you know, this is very, very important. Right, so you see this, you know, overall price is telling us that it wants to shoot towards the downside, as we've had this first touch, second touch, third touch, right, happening right over here. And another thing that can validate this, you know, is this beautiful claim happening right over here. You see, price came in and rejected, price came in and rejected again, price came in and rejected again, and pushed prices massively towards the downside. So we can expect our take profits to be somewhere around these levels right here. You know, that's if we get the movements in which that we are looking for, because, you know, this can still go either way, guys, because on our weekly, on our daily, and on our weekly, we do notice that we are getting our third touch, is that we are getting our third pullback, and our third pullback gives us an indication that price wants to shoot towards the upside, right? So now we can easily wait for this, but judging on this structure right here, US30, we can expect it to pull back down somewhere towards these levels right here, giving us a nice, how many percent can we say what it's gonna give us? Let's scale the levels, guys. Let's scale the levels. All right, market is out here, giving us a nice 3.37%, which is also beautiful. It's also great, you know, considering the fact that it's gonna be a Monday, and you know, it's also gonna be very, very crazy. You get what I'm saying? So you can expect a nice 3.37 to happen right over here on US30. Right, guys, so that's exactly what it is that we are expecting to happen, you know, on US30 and GBPUSD, is that we expect a very, very beautiful movement towards the downside, and then on the other one is towards the upside. So guys, it's gonna be a very, very crazy week. That's just one of the pairs in which we have been looking at but on our premium team, guys, you know, on our premium team, guys, we get to go through a lot more than what it is that we have been going with right here on this channel. But like, guys, you know, we will be giving you guys a couple of this and a couple of that, just to get a bit of a taste of what it is that we get to see, what it is that we get to analyze as a team, guys, going forward, looking straight into the week. So yeah, this is our analysis on US30 on the 4-hour time frame that we're expecting an overall sell. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, don't forget to share the video. Yeah, this is Appearing going on, and we out.